Welcome to Animal Posse, the podcast dedicated to the people and rescues making a difference in the lives of animals. Welcome back to Animal Posse. Today we are going to celebrate the animals who change our lives in ways we never expect. Today's guest has a story that sits right at the heart of what that is all about. The kind of story where a single dog doesn't just change a life, but it redirects it entirely. I'm joined by author A.J. Symon, whose debut novel, Golden Boy, was born from the bond he shared with his very first service dog, a dog who entered his life after he was diagnosed with a seizure disorder and who became his partner, his protector, and ultimately his muse. Hi, AJ. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Sure. So, today we're going to be talking about a dog who inspired you to write your first novel, Golden Boy. So,
Yes.
let's start at the beginning for listeners who may not know your story. Can you take us back to the moment that you received your first service dog and what was happening in your life at that time?
Oh, at that point, I was out of it. I have a seizure disorder. So I honestly, at the point that it actually happened, I was completely unaware. But after seeing by the doctor and given meds and everything, they said it would be helpful to have a dog who could be there to stay with me if I have a seizure, or and they can even, the dog that I had actually could kind of sense before and would get a little anxious, so I would know to lie down.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, he was incredible.
Before that, did you have any pets in your life?
Oh yeah, I've had dogs my entire life. In my entire life, I've had since I was, I don't know, 3 or so. Actually, when I was born, my parents had dogs. We had two collies.
What was your service dog's name?
His name was Chip, and he was awesome. He was so sweet.
Tell us about Chip. What did he bring into your world emotionally, practically, spiritually, as you learned to get along with a service dog in your life?
There was no learning curve on his part for sure. He just fit in perfectly. Not sure if there are actually words to describe what the relationship is like, but there was just like an instant bond with him for some reason. He would like I never really even had to talk to him. He would anticipate when I was about to go somewhere. Like he would have his leash before I even said, "Hey, let's go." He was that in tune with me. And I also could read him pretty well. I could tell when, for the most part, when if something was wrong, I knew when to take him to the vet, or if he was feeling down or something. I could kind of read him. But I think that's common among people who have pets. It's one of those few relationships where there are no words, but you communicate. And I have no idea how that happens, but it's there. I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about as a animal lover yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a prime example that I can give for that, whenever it's time for the cats to go to the vet, I don't even have to take the carrier out. They're hiding before I can go get the carrier. So it's like they know that they're going to the vet before I'm even getting the carrier out and getting ready to take them to the vet. And I think sometimes too, like I know I talk to my animals. Do you talk to your animals as well?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you almost have a conversation with them and you'll answer them, but they didn't ask you anything. Like, "Oh, you're hungry. Yeah, I'm coming with the food right now." So, yeah,
Exactly.
definitely understand where you're coming from with that. So,
Yeah,
how
and that's why sometimes it's so hard to put that kind of a relationship into words, because there are no words between the two people who are involved in it. But everyone, I think, right now, everyone talks about a soul dog, which is what that is, your soul cat. People, that's, I guess, the new phrase that sums it up. But even that, to me, doesn't really do it justice. It's just a very intense, close bond, especially with a service dog. They're with you more than your family is, really, because they're with you 24/7 all the time, everywhere you go. And so it's like a constant presence. You're like your best friends there all the time. And you just get into a rhythm, I think, where words aren't necessary.
and how long was Chip in your life?
10 years, 10 years.
And I think that's the part so many of our listeners will deeply understand is how you have that grief when you lose them. So when you lose them, it wasn't just losing a dog, it's like losing a partner who kept you safe, a constant presence, a lifeline. How did that loss shape you?
Oh my gosh. It was really probably the most intense grief I've ever felt. When I've lost my dad and I didn't have the same reaction. It was just, first of all, having him, the routine is broken. There's no routine anymore. And you look him where he's supposed to be and he's not there. So that just really, for a couple of weeks, I really couldn't do anything. I was distraught. But eventually I got out of it, and I can tell you that story too. But the immediate thing was, first of all, it was so unexpected because he didn't really seem sick until the day we took him to the vet. We took him to the vet on a Wednesday, and on Thursday he was gone. He had this horrible aggressive cancer that doesn't really show symptoms until it's too late. And I felt, to be honest, so much guilt about not seeing it before. And I think a lot of people, because our pets can't talk to us and can't tell us what's wrong, I think a lot of people feel that kind of the guilt because you're not as aware. And dogs, especially a golden retriever, is always so happy and they're so stoic. You can't really read that kind of pain until it's too late. Like I said, usually when something was wrong with him, I knew pretty quickly. Like immediately, I take him to the vet. They'd give him medicine or whatever, and he'd be fine. But this time, it's just like there were those weeks I would kick myself like, what was I missing? What did I not see? How could I not know?
Yeah, I totally understand that. I went through something very similar. First, I'd like to say I'm sorry for your loss because I definitely know how hard
Oh,
it is.
no, thank you.
Yeah, but I went through something very similar. I know what you're talking about with the guilt because I had the same thing happen to actually which what I would consider my soul cat. We're coming almost on a year now. And for me, it's still difficult to even look at his photos and stuff. I wanted to make a memorial thing and I still can't even do it. And it's almost a year.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
Yeah, but it was basically the same thing with him. He was like picture of health. And I noticed that he wasn't feeling well, and it was the same thing. He had an aggressive heart tumor, actually, so it was 2 weeks. You
Oh my
know,
God.
it was so unexpected because I understand what you mean about, like, you take them to the vet when you notice that they're sick, and so this time you took them, and it was too late, but I know exactly what you mean because I kept replaying the whole scenario in my head too. Did I miss something? Was there something that I could have done sooner? And in reality, I'm looking back and I know now I couldn't have. It's just how it presented. But it's still hard. It doesn't make it any easier and you still carry that with you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Even it's been now not quite 3 years, I think. And I still have those days. I still just kind of cry every day. But I have worse days when I kick myself and I'm like, no, because it's the thing with a vet. When you're presented with this, you don't really know what to do. Because first of all, you got the emotions. Second of all, I've never heard of what this is before. What am I supposed to do about this? So it's like, if I'd had months to research it, I might have been able to figure out what to do, but you're stuck there in the moment. And you have to make a decision. Are we gonna treat him for this? Are we gonna send him into surgery? He's an old dog. Well, how is he gonna react? Or should we just try and keep him comfortable? Trying to make that kind of a decision when you're under stress and you don't have the knowledge of what it is really difficult. And that was one of those things that were playing in my mind all the time. Oh, did I do something? Sure, I had made the right decision. Now I know, based on his age, that there was no way he would have ever made it through surgery. So I opted not to, and just to keep him comfortable. Just because I also, and you probably know this, I couldn't bear the thought of him dying among strangers if it did happen. And so he did end up, we were with him when he left. So that is the one comforting thing to me. But that's a really hard decision to make when you don't know anything about veterinary medicine.
Yeah, it definitely is. I totally understand everything that you're saying. And I think at one point or another, all animal lovers, when you have a pet, you're kind of in that position too. So I think a lot of people are going to understand that grief that you're talking about. Now, you did take that grief and you transformed it into something good. And
Yes, ma'am.
that's the book that you wrote in memory of your dog, Golden Boy. I would like to talk about
Yes.
that a little bit.
Okay, that is a much happier subject. I'll start with that. That was, it's really Golden Boy. It's a story about friendship and curiosity and seeing the world with fresh eyes. And it's a comedy. It's the beloved golden retriever of this family suddenly becomes human, and a teenage girl who's a loner. She's kind of a nerd and not doesn't have a lot of friends. Her dog's her only friend. He becomes human, and it transforms her relationships with her family, and he really kind of just transforms the entire town where they live. Her dad's the football coach, and when he sees what an amazing athlete this dog turned human is, he recruits him for the football team. And so he ends up just kind of changing the lives of everybody he touches, which is kind of what golden retrievers do.
Yeah, I understand that you came up with the idea for the book from a game of fetch. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it was like, it took this game. I've had this idea in my head for years. But this was not Chip that it happened with, but I was playing fetch with my dog, and I was playing fetch. He was playing keep away. I don't know if you know what that's like, trying to get a ball away from a dog who doesn't want you to get it. And he was funny. He was just basically teasing me, playing cat and mouse with me. He would bring the ball to me and drop it right in front of me. And the second I would try to get it, he'd snatch it up and run away. You probably hear him going like "psych" while he ran off. And after about an hour of that, I was tired and he was not. But he just kept running around wanting to play. And I looked at him, I thought, well, gosh, if that dog was human, he would be the world's best running back. And so I just pulled the pad out of my pocket and wrote that idea down. Thought, oh, this would make a funny story. And so that tells you how long ago it was, because it was before smartphones.
Oh, wow. You've called the novel a love letter to all dogs who we've loved during our lifetime and we wish could have lived forever. That hits home for a lot of people. So, how did writing the book help you transform grief into joy?
I told you how I was feeling, and at some point in that funk that I felt over Chip, I just got up and went to my computer and started writing, which, because I am a writer, but mostly I'm a screenwriter. This is my very first novel. I've never written a book before, but for some reason I said this story, and I sat down and I just thought, this is going to be a book for young readers. This seems like that kind of a story to me, and it just seems like it should be a book. And everything I felt, all those feelings I felt about Chip and all the grief and the loneliness and that sort of thing came out in the book and in the voices of the characters in the book. But within that, because it is a funny premise, all of the lessons that I learned from Chip, like all of the unconditional love and the joy and all of that, also came through. Yeah, like the grief was coming out, but it was also helping me remember all the fun and the love that I got from this dog that I missed, and also all the other dogs I've ever had, really. And I, it just, like I said, it flew out of me in probably about 2 months. I had a first draft, and I was reading, I thought, this is really cheering me up, and I think this could cheer a lot of people up, because it's fun and it's funny, it's relatable. Anybody who's had a special connection with a pet would definitely love this and get the story, because we all kind of feel like our pets are practically human anyway. So what if it just went one step further? Because dogs, and it's not that far off, dogs and humans share like 90% of our DNA. It's a couple of tweaks. You can go from dog to human. At least that's the theory in the book.
With this being your debut novel at 60, what was it like stepping into writing a novel now?
There's a lot of more responsibility to writing a novel than there is to writing a screenplay, first of all, because a screenwriter, you're lower on the food chain. As a author of the book, you're making all the decisions, so all the creative decisions are yours. So there is that responsibility to create something. But it is fun, because usually I'm not the one filling in the details on a movie. The set designers doing the sets, and the costumers doing the costume, and the directors and the actors are doing all their parts and figuring out how lines are read and that sort of thing. And but that is when you're a writer, you put all that in your book. You have to build all those images and those sounds and everything. You have to recreate all this in your head and recreate it in the head of the reader. So it's a fun experience. It's also, I think, less stressful than working on a movie because it's not as working on a movie or a TV show or whatever. It's a lot of it is we needed this yesterday, and but the pace of publishing is much slower. They're like, if you need a couple more weeks, you can do it. But I'm like, no, I'm not used to that. I'm used to you wanted it on the 5th. I'm going to give it to you on the 1st. I'm always early, and then that gave me a lot of time actually to work on the script, which I'm hoping will either someone will pick up the film rights, so the script will be done.
Yeah, it sounds like a great story. It really does. When will people be able to get it to read it, and where can they find it?
Right now, you can get it anywhere you buy books, like Amazon.com. You can go on my website, ajsymon.com. It's Simon with a Y, and you can pre-order it, and it'll be delivered to your door on August 25th, which is the published date. And after 25th, it'll be in physical stores everywhere.
I would also like to bring your new service dog into the conversation if we can talk about Bubba for a minute.
Oh,
So
of course.
I understand that Bubba is connected to Chip. Tell us about Bubba.
Oh yeah, Bubba is Chip's son actually, and Bubba was supposed to be take over for Chip, and he was actually here as a little puppy, kind of shadowing Chip, so that when Chip got to the point where he needed to retire, Bubba could take over for him. But Chip passed away quicker than we expected, so Bubba really had to step up and fill Chip's. He doesn't really have shoes, fill his role. So Bubba has been just a real savior to me. He's awesome. He's here right now, just keeping an eye on me.
Yeah, that's amazing too that not only is he Chip's son, but also he was trained by Chip. That's really cute. That's really amazing.
I think they do that just because they know what sort of personality characteristics for service dogs they have to have certain things. Like a lot of times German shepherds are police dogs, and golden retrievers are more service dogs and therapy dogs because it's a different temperament. I guess it's easier to control for that.
I would imagine Bubba's with you 24/7. He's going everywhere with you. What is it like having him as your partner on your new creative journey?
Oh, it's fun. I love having him. He's gonna when I do my book tour, he'll be with me everywhere, so everyone will get to meet him. He's I'm sure gonna be much more popular than I am with the people. He's so sweet.
Maybe
He
maybe you can have him sign like autographs so you can sign the books and he can put his paw print on there.
Get a little ink pad for him. That's a good idea.
How does he support you in your daily life?
Same. He does the same things that Chip did. He's with me all the time. He is super aware of my moods and how I'm feeling, and he can tell if something is off. He's really good at. He's actually very sensitive to mood changes and things like that, which is amazing.
So do you find he's on kind of the same wavelength that Chip was on with you?
Yeah, he is. It's a little different, obviously, because everyone is different. All animals are different, just the way all people are different. So he is a slightly different personality than Chip. I think that it's going to sound odd, but it seems like Bubba seeks my approval a lot more. I'm not sure how to describe it, but Chip was always just was mellow and stuff. But Bubba, you can tell he's like looking at me like, "Did I do that right? Am I doing okay?" So I don't know. Maybe he feels the pressure of having to live up to his dad's memory, and I hope not. But that's the only thing I can think of that to explain it.
Yeah, it's amazing how they all have their unique personalities. I know as animal lovers, we always see that, and it just amazes me when you hear from people that say animals don't have personalities because it's
Oh,
like,
they told.
yeah, how can you not see a personality in an animal?
No, they have personalities just as much as people have personalities. They're all different. Every dog I've ever had is completely different.
Our listeners are people who have been shaped by animals, healed by them, guided by them, sometimes saved by them. So, what do you hope that they take away from your story?
Oh, I hope that it lifts people up really, because the reason that I wrote it to honor Chip and Hudson and all those dogs was they gave me so much, and I kind of hope that the love that they gave me comes through in that book, and that even though they're gone from this world, that their spirit continues to kind of lift people up everywhere the way they lifted me up when they were here with me. It's kind of sharing that love and paying it forward. And I think it comes through in the book for sure. You can definitely feel it in there.
Do you think Bubba will have a future role on your writing life now?
So he actually got I actually named one of the very, very minor characters on the football team after Bubba. One of the big linebackers is named Bubba. So maybe in a sequel he'll become a bigger role.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, your heart, and your dogs with us. Golden Boy arrives this August. You said August 25th. And
Yes, ma'am.
I know our listeners are going to connect with it deeply. I am going to include your links in the show notes so people know how to find you. And yeah, thank you so much. It was great hearing your story.
Thank you so much. I'm so appreciate being part of the program and you inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I think this is going to inspire so many people. And I do think it's going to really help people if they read this to lift up their spirits and just have something fun to read.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope so.
That's it for today's episode of Animal Posse. If you love what we're doing, please consider becoming a member. Your support directly helps us continue highlighting the people and stories that save lives across the country. Just a quick reminder, the views and opinions expressed by our guests are theirs alone and are provided for entertainment purposes. They don't necessarily reflect the official position of the show, and this information should never replace the advice of your own veterinarian. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bars in the night, claws in the fight, whiskers twitch and tails take flight. They're calling in stories to spin from the wild to the heart within. Broken wings and hopeful springs, we're the voices for these things. Animal Posse, hear the call. We stand together, big We never fail, this is the bond, the holy